Well, good morning. My name is Scott Young from Optrics Engineering, and with me I have Sean Sturby, our Technical Services Manager. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, Scott.
And this is another edition of the Optrics Insider. Our three topics today are Punk Spider. Number 2 is Irony, Thy Name is Jim. And 3 is What is your Olympic password? Pluto, Goofy, or Mickey Mouse? Boy, some people have been spending a lot of good time coming up with some interesting headlines. All right, let's start with Punk Spider. What is it?
Punk Spider. So this week is DEF CON, and at the DEF CON conference, Jason Hopper and Alessandro Caceres, I hope I pronounced his name right, they are going to re-release Punk Spider. This was a tool that they created that has been offline for about a year or so. It's a search engine, but instead of it being a search engine a lot like Google or what's the Microsoft one? Bing.
Bing.
Yeah. This search engine is crawling the entire web, looking specifically for websites that have hackable vulnerabilities. And then you can, of course, search the results and find sites that are susceptible to everything from just a regular defacement to a data leak. So the reason they are putting this out is that they want all of the people that are in charge of websites to be able to go out and find a central location where they can say, what is my website vulnerable to, so that they would then go out and fix it.
Similar to, I guess, Have I Been Pawned? I suppose hackers can use this website to see who they should target, but at the same time, it's a resource for website owners to see if they're vulnerable.
Yeah, and in contrast to Have I Been Pawned, well, you can put in an email address of anybody into Have I Been Pawned and see if it has been. You don't know what the password is. In this website, you can put in any web URL, any link, and it will tell you that it is vulnerable, and this is what it's vulnerable to. So it's going to be interesting to see how they release it, and if they're going to wrap anything around it that is, rate limiting, or because I can see hackers and script kiddies just going out and saying, I know how to deface website XYZ, WordPress version this, or right. How many of those are out there? Boom. And now you've got a huge botnet being built. So it'll be interesting.
Yes, interesting ethics around that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else on Punk Spider?
It would be interesting if there was a similar service that you could go to and say, here are my URLs. What are they vulnerable to? So maybe they've got plans for a corporate version or a big brother type version of that.
Yeah, I could see, if I was them, I would create this as a service so that you can say, here are all my websites, please monitor them. And if something pops up down the road that makes it vulnerable, please send me an alert.
Exactly.
Okay. No tools exist currently to do that?
I'm sure there are. I just haven't gone looking for one of those. There are different services that will say, we're going to scan your site and let you know if your certificate is invalid, or if it's being used knowingly in, say, one of these phishing attempts. But I don't know of one specifically like this where they are doing vulnerability assessment without permission.
Fair enough. Okay. Irony, Thy Name is Jim. Tell me about that one.
Yeah, this one is a bit of a funny one. There's a man by the name of Jim Browning, and he runs a YouTube channel called The Tech Support Scams. And what he does is he allows his systems to be compromised, or he goes and finds out how these tech support scammers are scamming people and figures out ways around it. and quite often scams the scammers. It's a wonderful resource and quite entertaining, well, quite educational as well. This is how they say things. This is why they say things. This is how they make it seem important and time critical. Well, unfortunately, Jim had to tweet out that he had lost access to his YouTube channel because he himself fell victim to a scam. It really goes to highlight that even if somebody's got their radar on 100% of the time, it doesn't mean that they're invulnerable to being scammed. He has since put out a update video and showed how it was that he got scammed. And it wasn't that they said, oh, you have to delete your YouTube channel. It was very convincing. A lot of social engineering was involved in it. So that was quite interesting. And we expect more to come from Jim here in the next little while. He's done a very rough draft of this is how it happened. And we're expecting a more polished version shortly.
I bet you, or at least I should say, I'm wondering if, because he's known for doing this, if it was more or less dropping the gauntlet to have a scammer say, well, how could we outsmart him? And apparently somebody did. So, but at the same time, they're exposing how they could do it, because it is interesting how sophisticated some of these scams can be done. So it certainly pays to be vigilant. If something smells like it's not right, then that's, it's definitely worth examining it. And I know that you have talked to clients where a lot of them, or at least a few of them, have been the gift card type of scams.
And even myself, I'm the one that the office and our clients come to for a second opinion on an email or a link that looks a little fishy. But even I do take update training on a regular basis. See what is new out there. What are they currently trying to use? So it's the same as, you're walking through the mall or in the parking lot and somebody comes and says, oh, I've just run out of gas. Can you loan me $20? That's a very common scam. But if you don't know about it, how do you know to defend against it?
Well, and I know we've mentioned this numerous times, but if you are curious about if your staff or how Phish-prone they are, or how prone they are to be scammed through social media, we'll include some free tests in the show notes that you can try out. And of course, we highly encourage you to train your staff. There's on what not to click, and we have a couple of options with Curricula as well as KnowBe4. So we'll of course include links to those as well. What is your Olympic password? Of course, the Tokyo 2020 Olympics are currently on. Is your password Goofy, Pluto, or Mickey Mouse?
This is an interesting story that maybe our English-speaking friends might not have heard about. An Italian Olympic broadcaster, not realizing that his microphone and camera were still on, started asking the control center, what is the password for the computer in this particular booth? So live on air, he was talking about passwords and made a comment that, why couldn't it be as simple as Goofy, Pluto, or Mickey Mouse? He needed some situational awareness. And then he did actually say the booth's specific password live on TV.
I wonder how quickly they caught that and changed it.
Well, in this case, there's a lot of physical security because you actually have to be not just in the Olympic Village, but a broadcaster in this particular booth for that particular password to work.
Right.
So this is more just situational awareness and a reminder that you don't want to do things like write your password down on a yellow sticky note and leave it on your laptop.
And also, you have to be even careful if you've got a messenger app or instant message or on your computer, because sometimes I find if you're typing in a password, into a website or whatever, depending on which window you are in, you might accidentally put it into your chat. So then you have to change it.
Yes, chat apps are notorious for taking focus, popping up in front and getting ready for you to type something. And if your main brain is busy in the remember my super secure password for site X mode, you don't realize where you're typing it in, you hit enter, and now your coworkers think that you're having a stroke.
Yep. Life is fun. Anything else with the Olympics?
No, this was more just an interesting example of situational awareness. Be aware of where you're typing in your password or talking or saying your password.
Right.
Because people could be listening.
Exactly. All right. Well, interesting topic. So the first one is Punk Spider. The second one is Irony. Thy name is Jim. Where Jim, what was his last name again? Browning?
Jim Browning, yes.
Got to scam the scammer. Punk Spider, of course, being a search engine that'll tell you what websites are vulnerable, which is good and bad. And then, of course, the Italian broadcaster who broadcasted is the password. Whoops. All right. Anything else you want to add there, Sean?
Yeah, it was quite nice that when Jim Browning tweeted out that he had fallen victim to a scam and had lost access to his YouTube channel, he was able to get it back after about 4 days. And a lot of the people that he follows and that follow him are all involved in tech support. Mm-hmm. And quite a few of them came back with very similar stories. Yeah, I nearly got scammed this way, or I know somebody who fell prey to this and should have known better. So it doesn't matter who you are. They are out to get you, and it's just a matter of time before you will fall prey to one of these.
The biggest red flag, if you look at an email address, because there's so many, like even on a basic phishing email list, it'll look like it comes from iTunes or your bank or wherever, is pay attention to the link. They might display a certain link that looks legit, but if you hover over it off without clicking it, you can often see it in your browser and it'll be something that does not make sense. Yep. So don't click on it. And I'll also include a link to a red flags PDF, so you can download that and it'll give you a picture of an email and all the different things in the email that make you want to scratch your head and not click it. How's that? Good. Thank you, Sean, for your updates. Hope everybody has a good week. And of course, if you enjoyed today's video, please share, like, and subscribe. Catch you later. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.